I've worked with artists from The Voice USA.
Yeah.
I've worked with artists The Voice Canada, The Voice UK, and the X Factor Denmark as well. Everybody will tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
It was, with the one exception, the US one is really big exposure. So
Yeah,
that
that's true.
artist was really, she benefited a lot from her exposure on the show. But with most other ones, I mean, what they don't tell you about the show is it's just like the award shows where
Yeah.
it exists for the show primarily. So they can't just put random people on there.
Yeah.
They're going to nominate people that are relatively famous and you're going to have heard of them. And
Yeah.
they might have a few wild cards, but they have to also have a TV show. So I think with The Voice and with X Factor and those type of ones, what happens is they have a script. They kind of know
Yeah.
who they kind of want to win.
Exactly.
Like how it works. And I've been told this from inside sources, which I will not reveal.
Yeah.
Is they have a casting book with these shows. And each page says, young high school girl, big dreams, wants to be a pop singer. Guy who was in a rock band, down in his luck, wants to make a comeback as a solo artist.
Yeah.
Older housewife who is trying to make a go at it.
Yeah.
You know, you have the young college kid who everyone thinks is a jock, but he really is a sensitive artist.
Yeah, exactly.
And so what they have is they have a book with the roles of all these things, and then they find someone through the audition process that fits that role, and they assign
To that book.
a photograph. They take a photograph of them and they paperclip it to
that
when they
thing.
fill the role.
Yeah.
So this is how, I mean, I hate to burst anyone's bubble,
Yeah.
but it's basically like casting for a movie.
Oh, absolutely.
And because it exists mainly like, oh, it's this big thing of winning these shows, but it exists mainly to essentially have a show that is going to get viewers every week. Do people really care after the show? Sometimes. If someone's extraordinary, I mean, you have a few examples of like Daughtry, who came out of
Daughtry
American
is in it.
Idol,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Kelly Clarkson, obviously the first one. So there are lots of success stories that come out of these shows. But again, it exists for the purposes of kind
show.
of entertaining you
Yeah, it's a show.
and watching. So like I said, One Direction came out of this. I mean, there are absolutely exceptions. But for most people that participate in these shows, I found that, and particularly the artists that I've worked with that were on these shows, they found that in some cases it dragged their career down a little bit because now they're associated with this show
Yeah.
and they didn't win and all
Exactly.
this kind of thing, right?
If you don't win, that's exactly what I was trying to say. If you
Yeah.
don't win, it might mess up your career that you're trying to actually accomplish.